Hello guys, welcome to Deep Codes, and in today's video we will discuss leetcode question 1601 that says maximum number of achievable transfer requests. So guys, this question is not that hard question, it is somewhere between medium and hard question. And yeah, in today's video we will discuss two approaches. One would be the intuitive brute force approach, and second would be a slight modification by using bit manipulation. So yeah guys, stick till the end and watch the complete video. So here in this question you are given n buildings numbering from 0 to n minus 1, and each building has some number of employees. Okay, now in a transfer season some employees want to transfer or change their building from, let's say, some building I to some building J. So they transfer from one building to another building, and that transfer is recorded in this request array. So this request array consists of this request of I consists of from of I and to of I. That is, this is the starting and this is the destination. So an employee move from this ith building to some this building. Okay, and now initially let's say all the buildings are full, so the request is achievable if and only if in each building the net change of employee transfer is 0. So what does this mean? The net change in employee transfer is 0. That means, let's say in a building I, let's say there is some building I, so from this building two person move to some another building and two new person enter to this building. So the net change in transfer is 0 for this building. So yeah, since all the buildings are full, and after this transfer from one building to another building, the net change must remain 0. Okay, because we cannot accommodate more people in the buildings as they are already full. If let's say x number of people went out, then we can only accommodate more x peoples, okay, or x employees. So that is the meaning of this line, that the net change in transfer must be 0. That means the number of people going outside the building and the number of people coming out inside the building must be same. So that then only it would be the case then that net change is 0. Okay, so this explanation is given. That means the number of employees or people leaving the building is equal to the number of employees moving in. Okay, got it. So let's take a look at the first example. Okay, before that, our aim is to maximize number of this request, right? So let's say you are given r number of requests. So from that r request we need to find how many maximum requests we can achieve, right? So if you take a look the first example, here you are given n equal to 5. That means 5 buildings from 0 to 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that are 5 buildings, and then these are the requests you are given. So 0 to 1, that means an employee from building 0 moves to building 1. So this is this request 1 to 0. So employee from building 1 moves to building 0, then 0 to 1 again. So this is this thing. So these are the arrows given that states that an employee is moving from let's say building 1 to building 2. So this is the arrow. Okay, now here the maximum achievable request here, that is the answer is 5 here. And how 5? Okay, let's see. So let's try to understand that how the answer came is 5. So let me take here 5 building 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So for the first request from 0 to 1, so after this, that this would be the change. That means one employee would be less, and here building 1 would get one employee. Then from 1 to 0, then this means this and this from 1 to 0. Oh no, it's 0, it's 1. That the third request is 0 to 1. Okay, so that is minus 1 and this is plus 1, and let's say from then 1 to 2. So it is minus 1 here and plus 1 here. 2 to 0, so that means minus 1 here, plus 1 here, and then 3 to 4, that means minus 1 here, plus 1 here. Okay, so if you take a look, after, let's say this is the first request. So after this request there is an imbalance, net change is not 0. So let's say we also made this request. So after this request the net change is 0. So one answer you got is 2. So we can approve this 2 request and the net change would be 0. See, the net change after this request in the building 0 is 0, as well as in building 1 is 0. Net change is 0. Now let's say if you approve this request 3. Now 3 is the valid answer? No, these 3, after these 3 requests the net change won't be 0. So let's say you approve this request 4. Now after this also the net change is not 0. But after let's say you approve this request 5. So after this 5th request the net change is 0, because if you see the number of employees would be same as initially in the building 0, 1, 2, and there is no change in 3 and 4 right now. But if you approve this request 6, then after this there are no other requests, and this 6 cannot be our answer, because at this point the net change is not 0 because there is one more employee in the building 4. So guys, what we can do is we have two choices for each request, either to approve and not to approve. So we need to find combination of this request such that we can get the maximum number of requests approved. So we need to find such combination that the maximum number of requests is approved as well as the net change is 0. So here if you see that if we approve request 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, so after so that means 5 requests if we approve, then the net change is 0. But if we try to approve the 6th one also, then the net change is not 0. So we will only approve 5 requests here, and that's why our answer is 5 here. Okay, got it? So that's similar way you can solve this example 3 also, and as well as example 2 also. You can try to do that on your own. Now if you look at the constraints, the constraints are very good here. If you see that n is only up to 10 to the up to 20, as well as request dot length is up to 16. Okay, so the constraints are very much supportive here in order to write a brute force approach. Now if I ask you that how you think to solve this question, what would be your brute force approach, then you can start off with, see, there is a request item. Now each request has two possibilities, that is either to approve or not to approve, right? We can either approve the request and not to approve the request. So that means each request in the request array has two possibilities. So we can form like multiple combination based on this request. How many combination we can form? See, there are two possibilities for each request, and there are m number of requests. Let's say request, this size of this request is, let's say, m. So there are 2 to the power m number of different possibilities. Okay, and one of this possibility would result in our answer. Got it? So so what would be our answer? Our answer would be nothing but the final change would be resulted in 0, means the net change is 0, as well as the number of requests we have approved is maximum. That would be our answer. So that would so by checking these many different possibilities 2 to the power m, we can easily compare the one with the maximum answer, right? Got it? So yeah, our brute force approach would be simple, that we would try out all the possibilities and select the maximum of all the answer that we get. See, each possibility would result in some answer, would result in, let's say, 0 up till m. M is the maximum, is the size of the request, and this many maximum requests you can approve. So 2 to the power m possibilities will result in range 0 to m. So yeah, from this answer, range of answer, we will select the maximum answer that we get. Okay, so the brute force approach would be very much simple here, that is try all the possibilities as well as take the maximum answer, right? That is what we need. Now how we can try all the possibilities? See, as we know that each request has two choices, that is either approve it or not to approve. So based on these choices, where we can easily write recursive solution, because for each request we have to process one thing, that is step 1 is approve, step 2 is not to approve, right? So that's why we can write a recursive solution here easily. Okay, that is one thing. And then another thing what we have to check is the net change of the employee transfer is 0. That means in a building, number of people moving out must be equal to number of people moving in. How we can check that? See, whenever an employee moves out of the ith building, what we would do is we would do -1. If the employee move inside the building, we would do +1. Okay, got it? See, this is simple, right? Either do -1 or do +1. So this is nothing but we are calculating the in degree. So if you have somewhat idea about the graph, then in the graph, in the Khan's algorithm, we were calculating the in degree. So in degree is nothing but the number of edges moving outside, subtracting the number of edges moving inward. Okay, sorry, I reverse the case. In degree is nothing but number of edges moving towards the node, subtracting number of edges moving outside the node. So that is the in degree that we calculate for each node in a graph. So this is similar to that, because for each building we are calculating the same thing, +1 or -1, right? So this is similar to in degree. Now combining these two things, that is recursion plus in degree, we can write our recursive solution. How? Let's see. So here we first took one in degree vector and we call this max request function. So this max request will give us our answer, right? Our answer would be set in this global variable answer. So here what we are doing is, see, this is the base condition. Okay, for a time, just forget this. See, now let's say if we are to process the ith request, what we do, in degree of that building means the so this 0 represent the employees moving outside that building. So we would do minus, and 1 represent the employees coming inside that building. So that would be plus. See, request of ij consists of the building id. So this is the building ID from which employee is moving outside, and this is the building ID from which employee is moving inside. Okay, so based on the building IDs we are incrementing as well as decrementing. So here we approve the request, so that this change we have to make. Now if we approve the request, then what we would do, we have changed this in degree vector, that is a parameter, right? So we pass and request the modified in degree, and that is number of buildings, index plus 1 as well as count plus 1. Count plus 1, that means that we had processed one request. Okay, so the request, the count is nothing but the number of requests that we have approved. Now our next case is, see, this is choice 1. Our next choice is not to approve the request, so this is choice 2. In choice 2, here what we did, here we did decrement, so we are again incrementing that building and here decrementing that, so that we move in the original state, right? Whatever the original state of this in degree was, we are moving to that. So this to move back to the previous values, and then we again process that with this in degree, but with an index plus 1, right? Because yeah, we haven't approved the current request. Now we move on to the next request, and we also haven't incremented the count because we are not processing or not approving the request. Okay, now when we will stop this, we will stop this simply when there are no more requests pending for process. So yeah, when the index equals to request.size, that means we have processed all the requests. Then in that case we would check that what is the in degree of. So our question says the net change must be 0. That means after all plus 1 minus 1, all the buildings must be means the in degree must be 0 for all the buildings, right? That is, the net change must be 0. So if any of the building net change is not 0, then we simply return. Okay, and in the else condition we will simply update the answer, right? So so this is the base condition when all the requests are processed, and from that we would check if any of the building net change is not 0, that means this condition is true. See, this is nothing but not equal to 0, right? Then in that case we would simply return, and in the else case we would simply update the answer and then return, right? Okay, update the answer with a count, maximum of answer and count. So yeah guys, this way you can solve this question. Now talking about the time and space complexity. So time complexity here is 2 to the power m into n. See, I already told you what is 2 to the power m, because there are 2 possibilities for each request and m number of requests are there. So there are 2 to the power m possibilities total, and for each possibility what we are doing is, here we are running a for loop, so that's why multiply by n. Okay, got it? So so this is our time complexity, and space complexity is n plus m. Why n? Because here we are taking this in degree, okay, this in degree, and that we are modifying here. So this will consume big of n time complexity, as well as this would be for the recursive stack. That means at a time the recursive stack would be a size of at max m. So that would be our size of recursive stack. So this is our space complexity. Now guys, you can move ahead with this solution. This solution would remain the same, but we would try to optimize the space. Okay, how? By using bit masking concept. Now how bit masking would work here? Let's check that. So here what we were doing is that we were tracking the in degree. In degree would help us to find out whether the request is approved or not. But we can also track whether the request is approved or not by using bit masking. What is that bit masking concept? So in bit masking, what we do is we change the bit value, that is either from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. In our case, we would change the value of the bit from 0 to 1. Okay, so how when we would change? So let's say if we are approving the ith request. So for an example, I equals to 0, I equals to 2. This is 0th index, request ID is 0th index, and let's say I equals to 2. And we are, let's say we are approving the second request. Then what we would do is we would take one variable, let's say total approved variable, total approved would be initially 0. So that means all the bits are 0 initially. All bits are 0. Then after approving the second request, what we would do, we would make this total approved or equals to, that means we would add with 1, let's say 2. So what value would be? So it would be 0 0 0 0, some zeros up till 1 0 0. That means the second bit we would change the value from 0 to 1 by doing this bitwise OR operation. So here this bitwise OR operation we would perform in order to change the value of the second bit of this total approved request. So this variable we would keep, that would that would store that which request was approved or not. Okay, so this is how we would approve the request, by changing the ith bit of this total approved variable. So let's say if I is 5, that means we would change the 5th bit. So the total approved would be nothing like this. So 0 0 1, that is second request is approved, 0 third 4th 5th. So this 5th request is also approved. Okay, so this is how by changing the value of 0 to 1 we would mark that the ith request is approved. Okay, so this is clear that how we can track that whether the ith request is approved or not. Now the second thing is we also need to check at the end that whether the net change is 0. So yeah, we would perform the same operation. Instead of doing OR, we would do AND. That means we would only check whether the ith bit is 1 or not. So let's look at the code for better understanding. See guys, here I call this solve function. Solve is a recursive function and this will return the answer. Now this is the base condition, but before that let's check our two conditions. So this is our choice, two choices, that is this is choice 1 and this is choice 2. In choice 1 what we will do, we approve. So if we approve the request, then what we are doing, we are simply making the index or the ith bit to 1. So this is by left shift operator that I already showed you. We would take bitwise or by making a left shift I number of times. Okay, so this is how we will mark the index bit to 1. Then we would call this solve function by with this new total approved. In the choice 2 we would see initially we had stored in the previous that what was the previous value of total approved. Then we perform choice 1. Now to perform choice 2, that means not to approve, what we would do is we would simply update this total approved to the previous state, right? See, the same thing we were doing here. This in the choice 2 we were updating the in degree added to the previous state, right, before it was modified. So yeah, that's the same thing we are doing here in the choice 2 and calling the function solve. And at the end we would store what would be the answer if we approve, what would be the answer if we not approve, and return the maximum of both of them. Okay, now the main thing comes here is the base condition, that is change. So here in the base condition, see the condition remains the same when all the requests are processed. Okay, then what we would do is we have to check whether the net change in a building is 0 or not. So for that we have taken one vector of total buildings here and initialized to 0. That means initially net change is 0, and also we took one answer variable. Now here we are running a loop from 0 up till the request dot size for all the requests, and we are checking whether the ith request is approved or not. So if the ith request is approved, that means the ith bit is 1 if the ith request is approved. So taking a bitwise AND would not result in 0. Got it? So if the ith bit is approved or the ith request is approved, then the ith bit is set to 1, and that at that time taking the bitwise AND, this is bitwise AND with a 1 left shift I times won't result in 0. Okay, so this condition is nothing but the request is approved. So if the request is approved, then what we would do is we would do we would change this state of the building, that means minus minus, and this is plus plus. So the employee entered to new building, so that's why plus plus, and also increment the answer variable. Answer would track the count of requests we have approved. Now after this we are checking if any of the building has a net change not equal to 0, then return 0. If the net change is not 0 for any one of the buildings, simply return 0. Yeah, and in the else condition, if all the buildings have a net change as 0, then we would return the answer. Okay, so that's how by using the bit manipulation we here we have removed this changing vector. So initially this in degree was a changing variable, index was changing variable, as well as count was changing variable, right? There were 3 changing variables here, but here if you look that there is only 2. One is the index and the total approved. So by considering total approved, we can also get the idea of how many requests were approved and also get the idea of which particular request was approved, right? So yeah, here we have saved in the time in the space complexity. Although the time complexity remains the same, the number of possibilities we would check would remain the same. The only change would be in the space complexity, as we are not using the in degree. So the only space we are using was for the recursive stack. So yeah guys, that's how the bit masking approach would work here. So yeah, that's all for this video. If you guys have still any doubts, then do let me know in the comment section. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.